friend, partner, and our advisor and our go-to for all productions related issues, Mr. Daniel Baldwin, actor, producer, and everything you can think of. Mr. Baldwin has done and has succeeded. So, Daniel, what's up? What's new? We're here to really get involved with what iShook is, and I think it's been over a year since we started this venture together, and I think we're getting there. We're getting to where we want to get to. What do you think? What's up? What's up with you?
Well, my attraction to iShook, besides being a Long Island kid dealing with Rabbi Benny, a guy, here's right in Queens, a guy I can relate to, a methodology that I subscribe to. There's just a way we do things, that New York mentality of things that is really indigenous to only that region of the world. We just kind of get it. When you look at somebody, you look them in the eye and you go, I'll be there tomorrow at 3. At 2:59, I'm at your doorstep. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. I don't have to. I liked having the contracts. I like having everything, understood and written down so we don't have any misunderstandings later. But a handshake for me with a guy like you who understands from the old school, not to mention the dedication you have religiously to your faith, was very impressive to me. So when I looked at the all-encompassing media conglomerate that iShook is. I mean, it wasn't just movies or just TV or just it was so many things. From coin-related, aspects to personal services. There's stuff in the technology space that we're looking at. I mean, it's opportunities by which to give people the things that they want in 2024 and beyond. That's how I would explain what iShook is.
Wow, I appreciate that, by the way, and then thank you for that. How do you, I guess, the symbiotic vision that we have, right? And in addition, same here. Your faith has been always a strong suit for me, liking you and always being with you and always like calling you 24/7, even though you're busy, right? Like in that sense, that's important for me as well, as and I'm happy that we have that synergy together.
Well, when we were launching and getting things going, about there was some periods of like 2 months, or so at a time, a couple of these where it was frenetic, where we talked, 6, 7, 8 times a day, meetings
Yeah.
about, now we're kind of in that implementing stage where we're now actually acting on all the stuff that we set up, and then there'll be a lot more ferocity to it again. I'm sure that's coming. But even
Yeah.
my wife turned around and said, where's Benny been? You guys used to talk every day. The phone would ring and she'd go, it's Benny, it's Benny, it's Benny. So
No,
the
because
answer is,
obviously, if I'm not calling, I'm working. Right? We're doing so
yeah.
much of it. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
we're acting now, so it's great. But yeah, she just noted that. Where's Benny? We haven't heard. Benny used to call 10 times a day.
yeah, I'm like that. So, so side point, I want to mention. We started in the beginning with our project with iShook Max, right? You remember that iShook Max?
Sure.
We put some funds into it, but then we said, listen, let's stop, and we came to this conclusion that iShook.tv, a brand new YouTube platform style, right, to kind of compete in the market space with its app ClickTalk, right? We have the app associated to that TV, and we kind of merged together the YouTube slash sell, I guess, hybrid producer where they can submit their actual own movies into this platform and get monetized from them. What do you think will be the best way for people to really understand what we're doing here, where we're merging, like a Netflix with a YouTube kind of platform here, which is essentially what iShook.tv is. I mean, we are in a premium, pre stages of it, but we are here to really take over. I mean, what's your vision in that sense? I mean, what do you think where we're going? Are we going to the right steps? As a person in the film industry, and what you think?
Well, let me try to explain to everybody what my vision and my view of your creation is. And so, when you look at TikTok, when you look at some of the other social media platforms that are out there now, Instagram comes to mind, things that have a video, particularly a video presence. Um, when they first start, of course, everything gets remolded, redefined, added on. We continue to bolt on things to try to enhance the value of whatever this media form is. What we did here, or what, no, let me correct that. What you and your team did here, that I kind of jumped on board with. I don't want to take credit for something I didn't do.
No, but take some
Is
credit because a little bit of the ideas are yours. I mean, straight up.
Oh, okay, okay, but I appreciate that, but really, this is your baby, and I want to acknowledge that. So let me tell you where I saw it. What I saw was all the best aspects. There was a definite, you could see, analysis and strip down things that were wasteful, strip down things that were, just weren't really necessary and weren't working in some of these other forms. But more importantly, you've created a crossover community. Now, there's where it's different. You stand as an island and you talk about great enhancers on TikTok who make a lot of money. Some of them that group together a little bit, but really they're islands on their own. What you've done is taken YouTube and TikTok and immersed them together and built a community. So why it's going to, I predict, dominate over these other places. You're not going to say, you're going to say ClickTalk in years to come. You won't talk about TikTok, even if we may not even have TikTok anymore, by the way. But
Yeah,
still, because the invitation here is to join and be a member of something. So you will be able to monetize, you will be able to make a lot of money like all the other sites, but you're going to be able to do it on steroids. I mean, this is going to be monetization through the roof. And you're going to have aspects out there of other people that can help you with your projects, that can branch off of your project. I mean, it's mind-boggling the number of revenue streams and the community aspect of it that you've created.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And just to announce to everybody that we're creating a program for the first thousand influencers that we're going to pick and reach out to them to become part of iShook, both in market share and both in shareholders of the company. And we're going to give the largest monetization, and that's our program, beating any monetization. We'll match the price and add it double to any other social media platform. Just want to mention that we've discussed that many times, and I think we're close to implementing that and reaching out to those influencers.
So let me just add on something. If you're looking at this,
Sure.
this is again what makes this revolutionary. What makes this for the people, for the user. Let's reiterate that and put it in more workman's terms, because that's. I mean, I'm not, some Harvard laureate. So I'm going to reach out to you. You're an influencer out there. You want to use YouTube. YouTube gives you a platform by which to put your stuff on and monetize it, and they charge you a fee to do it. Do you own any of YouTube? Do you own any stock as YouTube becomes more valuable, more valuable, more valuable, more valuable? While you make YouTube this big giant company, all the millions of people that use it, do you benefit in any way? No. The YouTube people, if you happen to own stock in YouTube, because you bought it, you made it. There's the difference. What I mean about the community. So here, what he's saying to you, what Benny is telling you right now is, we're going to reach out to you influencers that have that kind of power. And we're going to invite you to be part of the company. We're going to say, while you have some effect on how big the company is, even all the other people that make that stock and the value of the company go up, you gain with it too. Not just on the monetization of whatever videos and stuff and movies and TV shows. And by the way, there's cartoon strips and there's, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you the things they're doing. They're doing music, they're doing books, they're doing, I mean, it's crazy. So there's so many things out there. You used to think just the guy who did the videos that were funny on YouTube was the only guy, or on TikTok, that he had a chance to make it. There's every category under the sun that you can think of that's in this format. So there's a place for you. You could be an artist. You can be. I mean, it's unbelievable. And a community to help you finish projects and messenger boards to talk to other people that might do something you don't do. I need an editor. I need this guy. I need the guy. And you're all right there on the same site, able to work with each other and get it done and monetize it. While if you have influence and you have some pull, you're going to make money because you can own part of the company. I never saw anybody tell me. Warner Brothers never told me I could own part of Warner Brothers when one of my movies made $200 million. No one said that to me, by the way.
Wow.
So I mean, it's really revolutionary what you're doing, and it's very smart because you give a piece away and you gain a lot more by getting them involved and giving them ownership. God bless you, bro. I think that's very smart.
No doubt. And like you said, community, that's very important. Community is very important. And helping people develop is very important. Like you can't just leave them like we got messages from Google. We cannot discuss with you the reasoning why ABC, whatever it was. That's ridiculous. That means you're not a true partner in publication with us. That's the biggest problem. The next thing that we have is obviously iShook.com, our social media platform. So one of the new caveats we're doing on our social media platform, besides the Chat GPT feature, besides the feature that you can upload audio, you can create a page for your full audio lists of all the podcasts you've done on audio. Besides the feature where you have ability to upload PDFs, so on and so forth, we're creating another feature that most people don't have. It's coming out by next month of August, where when you post on iShook, you post on Insta, on TikTok, on X, and on Facebook instantly. So we're creating an instant auto post. So that's the newest announcement we're creating. What do you think about that new announcement?
I think it's so important because as we begin, and no one's out there telling you that we're as big as Instagram or we're as big as any of these other platforms, but how many of them are willing to, I call it crossing over, how many of them are willing to share with the other outlets? And you know what, you may not come on board, but still you're crossing over into all the big ones at the same time with one post. So we're not saying go walk away from your Instagram account where you might have 7, 10, 20 million. Of course you're going to keep that. That's part of your bread and butter. We're saying that when you post here, it automatically goes to all of them, and we're part of that with you. So again, it's that community thing. I think what you're going to find is while everybody wants to say me, mine, you're going to find that this is the format that's going to blow up.
Wow. Okay, next one. Next one. This is awesome. These bites are good. For the iShook community. By the way, just for everyone to know, we reached over 100,000 subscribers on iShook channel on YouTube. We're not
Wow.
against YouTube, even though we have critics. We're critics of YouTube in some ways. We love YouTube. We love all the other platforms just as much as we love our own platform. But we feel that we have to have that crossover feature that most people don't have, as Daniel has mentioned multiple times here, and it's very important. And I'm glad that he mentioned that click of crossover. I didn't even think of that. That's why Daniel's part of iShook, guys. So now the other thing is that we're creating a new platform, not a new platform, but a new genre of book production, which is iShook Comics. And we have at least 6 right now. We have a meeting tonight, by the way. We have at least 2 more illustrators coming on board. And we have hopefully created a new comic called Super Black Comic. It's black with a Q. There's many caveats into why we're calling it with a Q. We'll have a write up coming out soon, but I want to show Daniel is going to be portraying one of the key. I would call him like a villain slash hero, right? Because this villain is really by perception. It depends which part of the spectrum you're looking at, he's a hero, and which part you're looking at, he's a villain. So this is my idea that I created. I had this idea for many years, and I was glad that I was able to create the idea and actually have Daniel to present it as the new. Let me show you who he is. He's called Leviathan. That's his name. That's his name, the code name, and he's what we call super light. Am I right? Super light. That's what we agreed. Super light. And here's the image of Daniel, new comic hero slash villain. What do you
He's
think,
not
Daniel?
that. He's not that, my friend. Let me coin the phrase now. Make sure everyone I'm on official record as recording this on this day. He's the villain.
That's a good one. He's the villain.
He's the villain.
Everybody, that's
He's not a Vero.
he's a villain. That's very good. So this is Levi
Yes.
and Daniel Baldwin's beautiful. Our guys are awesome, by the way, and what they were able to look great. This actually was drawn originally by Natalia, or our comic one, not our new comic illustrator that came on board. And I love the feature. And you see Leviathan is like the Leviathan tentacles. He has the power of a Leviathan. And we have a few other power sets that we're going to create for him as the comic grows and as it goes by. But this is Daniel Baldwin, guys, Leviathan, and iShook Comics, Super Black. We're looking for more talents to use their likeness. That's what we're trying to do with iShook as well, And I'm glad that Daniel's on board with this. Again, it's still part of iShook's comic series. It's still part of iShook as a parent company. But this is our shtick. This is what we're doing. We're developing huge amounts of product and publications, and we will help any creator who wants to create a comic for their themselves, or join our comic series that we have in the future. I mean, that's what the other bonuses that we have, where we create these publications, and we can always add people on and give them monetization on that as well. What do you think about that?
I think it's exciting. I have to tell you that as I was listening, I know that you've been very successful already in the podcast space, that iShook has definitely established already and it continues to grow in the podcast world as well, seeing that as a great opportunity to bring artists and opinions and ideas from around the world onto iShook. But I have to ask you this question. I guess it's probably not very common that the guest asks you a question, but how does it feel, Rabbi, to see for these years this vision that you've had, that you've brought in, religious leaders, political leaders, influential people, finances, and you had this vision, you and your wife, and how far you had to go to get to where you are today, and you're finally watching it. It's that. It's that bird that is getting ready to fly and it starts moving its wings, and it's getting ready to jump out of the nest. It's about to take off. How does that feel for you to see all this dedication, time, effort come into fruition now? How does it feel?
Feels very good, by the way, and most people don't understand. It's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, we're all doing sacrifices. You, Michael, the team, Boris, Ruben, we're all taking sacrifices and making this thing happen. I mean, I have a huge support network. I mean, without you, Daniel, a lot of this would not happen. Without Michael, for sure, none of this would happen. The CFO, without my producers like Boris and Ruben, and many others. Many others in my network, and of course my wife. I mean, and like we did a podcast with Chad and I Shook Experience, and I said, if you don't have a wife willing to support you while you're doing this thing, you can't be really an entrepreneur, because where's the financial support? I mean, you need a backup. My wife was my backup, is my backup, and it's a lot of it's over 10 years in the making. I mean, we started 2014 as an ebook platform. I met LeVar Burton in in the digital book world affair. He was starting Reading Rainbow again as an app, and then I think they lost the name of Reading Rainbow. It was like really weird. He has a different app now. But I saw him. I was in the elevator. I said, "Listen, I grew up with him," and he probably heard this from 1,000 people, tens of thousands of people. But that event really clicked for me, and honestly, the way we got this idea is because of that event. Michael goes to me, says, Benny, he's like a friend of mine, says, here, I'm buying you tickets to this digital book world fair. DBW was called, right? And he said, go. I want you to go see the event. And I learned so much in the event about where the world is going from books to ebooks. I mean, 2014 was really the beginning of e-publishing, and I think the ebook industry really set forth the whole creative industry to a higher level, because I always say, people's, for sure, you guys understand that ebooks and books and the literary works are the base of all content. If you can't write, you can't have content, right? If you can't understand what you're reading, have a good comprehension, how are you going to create content? It's nearly impossible. I mean, unless you have people doing it for you, and then you just act, and that's it. But even if an actor is acting, he needs to know what he's reading. He needs to memorize. He has to be skilled in reading and writing and all that stuff. And definitely 10 years worth of work. Listen, it's for now to come to fruition. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. A lot of things are happening. We're getting a lot of good news in what we're doing, and I'm very happy for it. I mean, and I'm happy that I have a good network, which is very important. You need a good network and a good support system.
Well, you definitely have assembled, I have a clear vision, and I love our meetings with Mike. He's very laid back, but he's a very savvy businessman. He knows what time it is. Don't take his quiet demeanor as any kind of weakness. He's a shark. He knows what time
Yeah,
it is.
it
Uh,
definitely does.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I listen. I get it. I grew up with a lot of, older Jewish men, that were very, very, very talented business people who handled a lot of money, and they taught me a lot of things. So I understand the world very, very well, being a Long Island kid, and um, but one of my clear desires and visions is you, me, Mikey, Boris, Ruben, when we realize we've gotten, up the hill and we're pretty safe and things are going and money's coming in and we can really see when people start getting scared of us and offering to buy us out, that kind of thing, because they see us as a threat. That's when I want to just all take our families and go somewhere for a weekend. It doesn't have to be a big exotic thing,
Right.
but just everybody gets together up in the Catskills or whatever it's going to be, and we just have a nice where we just all break bread and we give thanks, to how blessed we are to be in a position to see the fruits of our labor, and then to take X amount of dollars that we make and help other people.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, if they're already hitting us up, trust me, we should be not selling and continuing because that means we made it. If people are hitting us up, we made it, and
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, and then we're gonna make it even more. Obviously,
Yeah.
the next announcement, and we've been working on this very much, and I know Jared is working on this project. He's writing it, and that's Lights of the Maccabee. I think we will be the first production company to ever introduce a script and a full base story of the Hanukkah story. What do you
Mhm.
think? What's your take on what we're doing here?
I mean, I think when you look at your background and you look at the people and the team around us, it's a very topical thing. We've seen how many stories about Christmas, and we've seen how many stories about Jesus, and we've seen how many stories. Let's tell the Hanukkah story. I mean, I think it's an important story to tell. I think it will naturally cross over. I mean, many people out there have to remember Jesus was a Jew before Christianity.
Right? People
So
forget. They
yeah,
forget.
no, people they forget that fact, and so I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm looking forward to growing my hair very long and talking like I'm like this, like I'm from New York, and playing the character like this.
Why not? Listen, you're for sure gonna be in the movie. That's not even a question.
Yeah, yeah,
That's for
yeah.
sure happening. I mean,
I'm
there's
afraid a Hanukkah movie. I'm going to be the guy who goes, "Step right up, here's your Hanukkah baby." That'll be me. I'll be fine. So.
well, that's definitely cool. I mean,
But you
I
don't know
go ahead.
you don't know in history about the Baldwinbergs or the Baldwinsteins, do you?
No, what is going?
Long, long history, the Baldwinbergs. So when my grandmother Sydenham, her last name, it was on my grandmother's side, Grandma Baldwin's side. There was no, Grandma Martineau's side. There was a relative named Sydenham, and there's a Jewish star affiliated with their name. And
Wow.
so now the History Channel is doing this whole thing, and it turns out there may be on my mother's side in Europe a Jewish relationship. So I may be qualified for the movie. Directly bloodline. We'll see.
Right, you might be actually even Jewish.
See the surprises that come out on this
Listen,
podcast?
and guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna have all the reels. Daniel Baldwin is Jewish. Stand by us.
Baldwinberg or
Baldwinberg.
Baldwinstein.
Right,
I like it.
Baldwinstein is actually better.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
Baldwinstein.
Baldstein. Ah, you got to leave the win in there. You got to leave the win in there.
All right, Baldwinstein. All right, that's a good one.
Baldwinowitz.
Baldwinowitz. Oh, now we're talking. That's a good one. That's even better than all of them. Baldwinowitz.
Baldwinowitz.
Yeah, he's a winner and he's a it's all good.
That's right. Perfect.
So the last announcement that we have in iShook is iShookcast.com, which is a collection of all our podcasters, our whole podcast network in one website, which you have full transcripts of the website and a summary of the actual podcast. And in addition, we're creating our few more channels of podcasts. So I want to announce a few of them. iShook Sports, which I believe you're running it, right? You're going to do the iShook Sports.
I'm the guy to do the I Shook
Yeah,
Sports for
that's
sure.
it. And so everybody should know iShook Sports coming out, and Daniel's going to do that show. In addition, we're going to do iShook Market, which we're going to work about figuring out how to do a QVC type of channel where we actually test the products and give a full review and make a few character jokes, but virtually and maybe on set. That's going to be determined who's hosting that. And then we have iShook Crypto 101, where I'm going to be giving full cryptocurrency education and details of what cryptocurrency is, what it does, so on and so forth for the layman to then understand what is happening, right? And hopefully divert people from making full bad investments, like i.e., do not invest in meme coins. I mean, you're most likely going to lose on a meme coin or a meme NFT. So I tell everybody, be careful with the memes. They're a little bit memey.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to get on the course and learn more about it. I mean, I've been around. I've watched friends of mine who've made billions of dollars, and I went in there on like Coinbase and a couple of places and bought a little here, bought a little there. A few of them have gone and really cheap stuff. 10 cents, 5 cents,
Right,
and some of it's up to 47. I mean, I look like a genius, but I didn't put $1 million in there either.
right.
To make it pay off. So everybody wants to be the guy that bought Bitcoin at 22 cents. I mean, for sure. But
But again, everyone says that, by the way. Sorry for cutting you off, but it was near impossible. I knew about Bitcoin in 2009. I did research on it. It was near impossible for me to get that Bitcoin. Like, you had to
right,
be a real coder to get to that Bitcoin. It
right,
only became a dot, like Coinbase only came out like 10 years ago, like, no, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I mean, like, all these exchanges came out very new. They're not from 2009. It took them at least close to 9 years to get to where they are now, where everybody can access it. So it's
right.
very easy to say I could have gotten it for 22 cents, but again, how, where, when? I tried it. It wasn't that easy.
I wouldn't have minded getting it at $200.
Right, that's even true. Right, no, I'm just trying to say people shouldn't feel they should have shoot themselves in the leg and beat
Right,
themselves up for it. That's all
right.
I'm trying to say. Don't
But
feel like you lost, Daniel. That's
yeah, yeah, no, no, no. I mean, if I got in at $2,000, I mean,
right, right,
just
right.
I think what you're going to find out is that, particularly if we have a currency problem here, which we could, if we were to turn over to a coin in the U.S., man, I'd love to be a guy who had Bitcoin at a couple of thousand on a coin because
Oh, no doubt.
that thing's going to go up like crazy. But then, of course, you're going to have the opportunity to get the iShook coin and watch us continue to grow and watch its value
For
go
sure.
way up. Because if particularly if something happens to the American dollar, a coin is going to be the way to go.
Right now, there's a new scare. Saudi Arabia just announced that they might pull away from the USD. That's another huge. It could
Well,
be a huge, and that's on a condition if there's going to be any freezing of certain assets in Russia. I don't know. It's a huge game being played right now. I had a show with Adam Susdin. We spoke about the BRICS issue, right? Where
mm,
BRICS can be a huge factor. Your boy, what's his name from? I know you're connected with the guy from El Salvador, right?
President Bukele.
Yeah, Bukele, and the president. His adoption of coin took his country out of poverty. I mean, that's huge. That's
They
not a
were they
joke.
were they were criticizing this man of great vision, and he did things to clean up the streets there. He has done things financially. Only country in the world that switched over from coin, and he was American based, a dollar based country. Um, and when you now look at his ideas and the risks that he took as a young man, a relatively young man, to be president of any country, he's moving them up the ladder quickly, technology wise. They're just blowing up in that country right now. The sky's the limit. He's going to
Wow.
build Bitcoin City, and yeah, no, I'm heavily involved in him. I'm a follower and very very loyal subject of this man, and he's a friend. So yeah, yeah, I like, and I
Yeah, I like his vision too, and I like the fact that you have the same vision as he does. Because I'm in the same boat without that with the cryptocurrency. I think that is the future of money exchange and transfers and actually interacting with people via money.
yeah, I agree. I agree. This guy's the bottom line is Bukele has balls. He does.
Oh
He's,
yeah,
he's
he's.
he does. He's a ballsy young smart man. That's what he is.
I mean, without not even just saying that, he did things that no one even thought was possible. I mean, what
Who's
he
la-
did.
who, who's laughing now?
Yeah, exactly.
Him
He's
and,
laughing
and
right now.
and the people. Listen. I said when I was down there, and I'll say it again now. People left that country in the 80s and the 90s because it was a really tough place to live. And I had a very dear friend of mine move to the US, and she said, and she was a housekeeper. And she said, when I left, being a housekeeper in Los Angeles with two children was an opportunity compared to staying in my beautiful El Salvador that I love so much. She said, and I said to her, Josefina, you will know when things have changed, when people from Los Angeles want to move back to El Salvador because of what a great opportunity it is to be there. And they're starting to go. They're starting to move
Wow.
back because of Bukele, because of
Wow.
his family, his administration. I mean, this guy was very careful about how he selected the people and just had a shakeup down there where he found out a couple of people were doing things he didn't like and he ripped them out of their seats. I'm not talking like, you know, ministers of big programs. He prosecuting them. He doesn't take any shit. This guy,
Wow.
he's the real deal, man. So
Wow.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down and see him soon.
That's not bad. Wow. That's unbelievable. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
know that that's how, strict he is. Like that. That's how he's
Oh
like
yeah.
on top of the game here.
He's got like a 96 approval rating. I mean, some crazy. They're like the highest in the world. And he's got this huge approval rating. And you know what? He shows the people day in and day out. He's like, yeah, look, I am what I said I am. I am doing what I said I'm going to do. And if you mess with me, and I don't mean mess with him on a personal level, you can have a different opinion than him. You don't have much of a chance down there because he has such a high approval rating. But you can voice your opinion against him, but no one has any better ideas than him, and no one can implement ideas and take action like this guy can. He's rallied a corrupt country into being an incredible. They're going to lead all Central America. They're going to be the leader.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I think he has a couple of billions of dollars of Bitcoin as a reserve. Like that. You can't get better than that.
Yeah,
Pegging
no.
your currency on a Bitcoin reserve. I think he owns over 250,000, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 600,000 worth of Bitcoin. I'm not sure. I got to find out the details, but he has a huge reserve of Bitcoin. And don't forget,
Yeah.
now with the EFTs being approved for Bitcoin, his value is much more now. I mean, he's got futures value. I mean, that's crazy
He
what he's
listened to
done.
people. He listened to people from the Biden side of it that criticized him and that wanted to see him fail so badly because he had kicked the American dollar to the curb and he decided to go with Bitcoin. You go 3 years ago when they were threatening to collapse the economy of that country because of his maverick attitude, Bukele's, and his great intestinal fortitude to stick by what he believed and his advisors had set forth and put and implemented. So, he's laughing now. I mean, I'm sure he's sitting there watching,
Right.
debates going on, kind of snickering a little bit like, oh, yeah, old man, well, guess what?
Yeah.
So good for,
he,
good for
he's
him.
he's got the last laugh for sure. Daniel, tell us in the community, they want to know what's this background you got on Mount Everest? Why you got Mount Everest out of everybody?
Well, I'm going to wait until to give you the full dope
Okay,
on
cool.
what Mount Everest is on a live show that I will do on iShook for sure to make the official announcement.
Awesome,
But
awesome.
I am very inspired by the man who stands looking at the vastness of Everest, the highest mountain, the highest peak in the world, the closest you can possibly physically get to heaven while you still your feet are on the earth. And Everest has always intrigued me, so it's a symbol to me of great heights, which is what I believe I strive for in most things that I do, including the endeavors that I do with you, my friend.
I appreciate that. So everybody should know, stick to the next episode. We'll announce where Daniel will announce why is there a picture of Mount Everest in the back of his house right there in the portrait style.
See, so my wife, who's an attorney at the world's most powerful law firm, Denton's, uh, also is the Notre Dame Law School graduate. So I've got this and this.
Wow. But it's reversed for some reason, the letters in the screens. What does it say there?
Play like a champion today
Oh,
is the slogan at Notre Dame University.
awesome.
Play like a
Awesome. So
champion.
there's gonna be two announcements. Why we have that and why we have that, right? Why we have the Everest and why we have that flag.
There's times when it's just like with my kids, where it's just for play. But most things that I compete in, I play like a champion. I play to win. I play to win fair and square within the rules, but I play hard and I play like a champion. So I look at that every day when I sit at my desk to remind me that I'm a champion, that I should play like a champion.
By the way, this is an entrepreneurial concept that Daniel uses. So I want all the listeners to understand, if you're gonna hit the game of entrepreneurship, you got to play like a champion. You're playing to win. You're not playing to create a illusion of what a win is. No, there's got to be a win. and the win is a success story, a dollar cent story. And that's why, that's a huge message. I want everybody to know that, like, just to emphasize on that point. That's a huge point that people don't get sometimes.
Amen.
All right, then I think we're gonna close it up for today. Yeah, these are announcements for iShook. We're probably gonna do this a couple of times, maybe every month, at least one time, just to give us to give the community a heads up what we're doing, where we're going. We might even analyze a few things that we're trying to project and do. And listen, iShook is here to stay. We're not here to go. We're here to stay, and Daniel's here to stay, and we're gonna make a lot more moves in the production industry. And we have a few projects pending, and we're gonna announce them once we have them in fruition. Like I say to everybody, I announce after we're done, not before. So this is what we're doing.
Cool.
So see you, everybody, to the next episode.
Thank you.